Hey everybody, it's Chris over here. Today I just want to talk about enablement or enabling in a relationship. We have different kinds of relationship in this world, and it matters how you start your relationship with your wife or your husband. It all matters because as a man, we in our cultures, it doesn't matter which country you come from, we are taught to drink beer, that's normal. Drinking alcohol is normal. And there are so many abusive relationships. I personally grew up in in a family whereby alcohol was something really normal, but my father was never abusive. I can't say about either he was abusive or not to others, but he wasn't abusive to me. But I also hear stories in my circle, at work, in my friendships, that their relationships sometimes end up with divorce because the husband is so addicted to drinking, or is a drunk, or is alcoholic, and he likes to go out and drink alcohol, leaves the kids, leaves the wife with the kids, and he just goes 2 days or maybe 1 day, comes back very early in the morning. Some people lose jobs because of alcohol. Some people lose lives because of alcohol. But what I want to talk about here is the enablement that your spouse and your husband, your wife, gives you. Because most of the time, we enable this behavior, and we put no limit to how far a person can go. If you have children, if you have a wife, if you have responsibilities, a job, you can't go drinking up to 4 a.m. in the morning. That's out of question. And in a relationship, you have to be able to communicate with your husband, your wife, like you can't do that. You gotta be able to communicate in the right way. And it's not okay to make a problem out of a problem. What I mean is, some women don't know how to communicate. They end up arguing, quarreling, and that's where everything goes wrong, to divorce. What I like to do, or what I've experienced in my marriage, is I get the sense, and why I stopped drinking is I woke up and I understood that I'm not alone in this life. I am sharing this life of mine with somebody else. It's not my own life to do what I want to do with it. I gotta take care of my body. I gotta take care of myself, and I can't leave that responsibility to nobody else than me. I gotta take care of my mind. I gotta take care of myself. And the way I saw it is, yes, I was an alcoholist. I used to drink a lot. I used to indulge a lot in alcohol. I'm not gonna lie about it, but I thank God that I quit. I quit indulging in alcohol, and the main reason is not because of my friends. My friends are all alcoholics. I don't want to put them in a bad shadow, but the most relationships that alcoholics have are with alcoholics, not with non-alcoholics. Most of my friends are alcoholics, and the more I hang out with them is the more I drank. My wife helped me by giving me the picture of, you're not alone in this relationship. Your life is not only yours. Now we share this relationship together. And if you go out drinking up to 4 a.m. and I stay home worried about you, what do you think that would do to me? And that kind of switched something in my mind. That kind of gave me a reality check. Like, I love alcohol, but whose life am I destroying? It's not my own. It's not only me, because I think relationships way deeper than family. Your wife weighs deeper than your brother or your sister, because your sister and your brother and your mother and your father are not always there with you in your relationships as a grown man. You're living with your wife, you're living with your children. So you give them all this baggage that is coming from you to them. And why would you do that? Sincerely thinking, because you're gonna stress out these kids, you're gonna stress out your wife, you're gonna stress out your whole environment that's personal to you just because you love drinking. Yes, you can drink once in a while. Why not? Why not? If the children are playing, if it's on vacation, if it's summertime, there are right places to do. There's time for everything, like the great book says. There's time for everything. And the bad thing with alcoholists, they don't plan. I say they because I'm no longer one, but they don't plan their days like that. After work, I'm going to take 2, 3 beers, 4 beers, I'm going to see my friends, I'm going to hang out, I'm going to smoke, I'm going to drink, I'm going to, they don't plan their days like, oh, what happens tomorrow? What if I'm driving on the way and I'm drunk driving and I hit somebody? Or what if there's an emergency and I have to go, to the children? There's an emergency and I have to go to the children, and I'm drunk. You got to think of situations like that, because most people don't think of situations like that when they're drunk, and they don't think of situations like that. They don't think like, okay, I'm going to my friend to drink, but what if I get cold? Like, there's an emergency, there's something I have to go to. What about my blood pressure? What about my heart? What about my brain? What if I'm drunk and I'm walking home and I fall on the streets and I can't move anymore? How am I going to handle myself? Because awareness is the best weapon you can have in this life. Being aware of your body, being aware of your surroundings is the best weapon or self-defense you can have in this life. And if you're not aware of your body and not aware of your surroundings, how are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to protect those around you? How are you going to protect those you love? Most of us don't think of those situations. And that's why I think it's very important for wives and husbands to put this reality inside their relationships. Don't feed your relationship by saying nothing. You have to say something. You have to let them know that you're not alone in this world. You're not alone in this relationship. You're not alone in this situation. So you better start getting your act right. And that's what helped me stop drinking. Peace, everybody. Share this with anybody that can help. And God bless you. Peace.